Hey guys, it's Untitled Loom here. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create my Lash and Dash bracelet. It does take about 155 bands or so to create a full wrap. And the side that you're looking at right now is what I'm considering the front side. I did do less colors in this one here. If you notice, they do look slightly different. This one on the right side here, I use limited edition bands from RainbowLoom.com. I do feel like more colors for this design definitely gives it like more definition. You can just see the details a little more. I did also use a technique from Crazy Just Might Work's Ancestry bracelet for the border here, so you can find that design on my channel as well. So I just want to thank her for that technique. You'll see that in a few moments. This is the back side of the bracelet here, and I'll show you what it looks like if you only use one color for the center bands. So I actually like how that looks with one color because it looks like it's all kind of coming from one band, but that is your choice. I do also want to say that I am in a different location, so please do not mind any echo that you might hear. So there you have it. Let's go ahead and get started. To make this bracelet, you will need to have at least 4 bar pins. I'm going to be using 8 to make a full wrap. So you would just have the next 4 set up right in front. And for the bar setup, you want to have the middle 2 bars aligned like so. And then the outer 2 will just go inwards. Make sure your arrows are facing away from you. And you of course will need 1 C-clip and your hook. Now the first bands we're going to lay will be the very side border bands. So these white ones here. And I'm just going to stick with white for my border right now. So we're going to start by just laying 1 on the middle. That's for closing it up. You can use 2 if you want a super tight close. But with this design, I would recommend only using the 1 because there's a lot of bands in there. So now we're just going to go up the sides. Out to the right. Out to the left. And I'm just going to stick with the right side for now. Just a simple single chain. Very basic. Someone's playing music downstairs, so if you can hear a faint background noise or music, I do apologize. You can just disregard it. Everything echoes in this house. So when you get down to the second to the last pin, we're going to bring it in. Like so. And for my wrist size, I do bring it down to the very end for it to fit my wrist. Some of you may even need a 3rd set. This fits my wrist like perfectly. So it might be a little bit snug for some. So you're going to outline the left side as well the exact same way. So I'm going to go ahead and get the left side laid really fast, and I'll be back in a moment to show you the next Alrighty, so now we have our perimeter all laid. So now we can go ahead and move on to our next layer. And this layer is going to be the turquoise bands in this bracelet here. So I'm going to use orange, color I rarely ever use. And we are going to be laying some diagonal bands. We'll be starting at the corner, and we'll be bringing them inwards. So I'm just going to lay both sides at the same time. So you'll bring one in like that and the left side in like that. Come up to the next pin, do the same thing. Like so. Now I have not tried it with any other bands besides limited edition, but in my opinion, I wouldn't use anything like a dual layered band because the twisting may really affect the way the bands lay. I mean, obviously you can certainly try it. I just don't know how clean it's going to come out in the end. For this design, we do want to actually lay a set of diagonal bands on the very last row as well. So on this row here, we do have our border band there, but we're just going to lay this band right over top of it. Like that. Now you're definitely going to want to push these bands down some, and then we'll come back to the beginning. Alright, so for the next color that we're going to be laying, you can choose one or two colors like I was saying in the beginning. We're going to start by laying a band right here, going out to the left and the right. So I'm going to actually use my green. Out to the right, out to the left, you're laying it right on top of those bands that are already there. And then if you want to use the same color like I did on this one in the middle with all the pink, then you're going to use the same color and lay it forward. So I would use green. But since I want this effect where I have the purple and the gray, I'm going to use a different color. So I'm going to use brown. Like that. So now I'll go back to my first color if you're using two colors. We're going to go diagonal out to the right, diagonal out to the left. Like that. Then you're going to lay your forward bands again. It's definitely easy if you're only using one color for laying the bands, but like I said, I'm going to use two because I think it'll be a little bit, it's easier to use one color, so I'd rather show you the harder version. And we're just going to keep alternating. So we laid our diagonal one out. And now we're going to lay our vertical one forward. Go back to laying the diagonal out. And you're going to need to push these down as you're going along. Forward. So I'm going to go ahead and get mine finished. This is what it should be looking like. So I'm going to do this and I'll be back to show you what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, so I have completed laying everything. So this is what your loom should look like now. I would highly recommend taking a moment, push everything down. It's going to make your looping a lot easier. So we're now actually going to turn our loom around so our arrows are facing us. We're going to grab our cap band, or make a cap band on these front two pins. So whatever you're using for your border, we're going to grab it. We're going to make a cap band on one of the pins. This is how I do it. And then I grab the entire cap band with my hook and I stretch it over to the other pin like so. So now we have a double cap band on both of those, and now we can start the looping process. So we are going to be looping 4 bands per section. So the bands that we just laid in the middle, we're going to cross them like an X, and then the bands that are pointing down, which is my green, we're just going to loop them down back to themselves. So go in your cap band, whatever side you start on, make sure you do that every time. I'm going to start on my left. We're going to cross that up to the right pin. And then you're going to grab the bottom right one and we'll cross that up to the left. Like so. So now we'll go in those pins that we've just looped those two, and we'll bring the bands that are facing down, we'll bring them down, almost like you're making like an M. Go in, bring it down, like so. So now we'll start that over on these pins. We'll make that X again in the middle. Make sure you're crossing them. Do not bring these ones back to themselves. They should cross like that. And then we'll go into these middle pins and you'll loop those bands down. We'll do that again. Grab the top band, bring it up to the right. Top band, bring that one up to the left. Go in that same pin. Grab that diagonal band, bring it back to itself. Same thing on the right side. So again, you're looping 4 bands per section. So I think it's pretty simple. So this is what it's looking like, just to give you an idea. I'm trying so hard to keep my hand out of your view. So we do have quite a few more steps that we have to do. So I'm going to get this finished up. If you are ahead of me or I'm taking too long, you can always pause, rewind, or fast forward at any time. So I'll get this looped and I'll be right back to show you what we're going to do next. Alrighty, so I have completed looping mine. So the next part that we're going to do is very easy. This is the part where I said it is from Crazy Just Might Works Ancestry Bracelet, and you guys have seen me do it in my other designs previously as well. And this is going to be looping part of the border band. So if you have your loom to the side, my weight bands are what my border band is. We're not going to do anything on this first diagonal pin. You're going to come to the first straight one. You're going to come to the back side of that first band. So I'm referring to this as the front, this is the back. You're just going to grab the back side of that band and you're going to lift it over the pin. Come to the next one, grab the back side, lift it over. You're just going to do that on each one. You just want to make sure you're not doing that part of the band because we need that part to loop at the end to close everything up. And you're going to stop at the very top one right here. So this is what it's looking like if you're looking at it from straight above. And then obviously we're going to do the same thing on the right side. So you're not going to do anything on this diagonal pin. You're going to come to the first vertical one. You're going to go to the top part of the pin and grab the top part of that band, the white band or your border band. Bring it up and over. See there's still a band down there. That's for closing it up. I forget which design I have used this in before, but I know that I've used this technique of hers before, and I love it. It's just a nice change from the normal plain border. Okay, so now that we have that done, now this next part's, excuse me, so sorry, the next part's going to be super easy as well. We are going to be looping the other diagonal bands that are now facing downwards. So we're going to be going inside the middle and we'll be looping it outwards on each one. So start on the bottom row here, grab your top band, bring that out to the right. Bring the left one out to the left. Come in the next row, grab the diagonal band, bring it back to itself. Same on the left side. Now when we are all done this, we are going to come back and we're going to do one more step before we loop the border. So don't go anywhere. I don't want you to miss a very important step. So as you can see, this part is super easy. I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of my orange looped out, and then I'll come back and show you the next step. Alrighty guys, so once you have that completed, this is what we're looking like now. So before we loop the border, there's one more step that we have to do. All of these bands in here that are facing downwards, so it's my green, we're going to come on the outside of the pin there's going to be 2 bands that we're going to be lifting up and over. So we'll come to the beginning. We're going to start on this very first pin right here. You're going to skip the very top band, and you're going to grab the 2 bands underneath of that. So it's whatever band is facing down that you're grabbing. There should be 2 of them. Just be careful that you're not grabbing any other band like I'm doing. Okay. So there should be 2. You're just going to bring it up and over and release. We're going to come up to the next one and do the same thing. So you're grabbing the 2 middle bands. And you're going to bring it up and over. And just kind of do it like carefully, because you don't really want those bands getting all twisted. It looks nicer if they're like laying straight. You just want to pop it over like that. It's just kind of tedious is the only thing, because that 3rd band kind of gets in the way a little bit. You only want to make sure you're grabbing the 2 bands that are inside. You're just going to slip it over the pin and let go. See how this one here is like twisted? If it does that, you might just want to use your hook or fingers and just fix it so it's laying straight, because that's going to make it look cleaner at the end. So just take your time, bring those up and over. And since it does take a little bit of time to do, I'm going to go ahead off camera and get all mine done, and then I'll come back and we can loop up the border. Okay guys, so this is what it should be looking like. Now make sure, because I didn't do it on camera, make sure you did the right side as well, and make sure you didn't skip over any, because for some reason in 2 of the bracelets I made, I did skip one, and you don't want to do that because then it messes up the whole bracelet. So this is what we have here, and now all we need to do is loop the border. So I'm going to come down into the very beginning, and we'll just loop the border to itself. So make sure you're pushing everything back, always grabbing that very bottom band, and just loop it forward. Just like you would do any normal border. When you get to the top, bring it in, like so. Then you need to do the border on the right side all the way up until you reach the top. And then you'll bring it in, and we will C-clip it. So I'm just going to get my right side looped up really quickly, and I will return in just a moment. Okay, so when you have gotten to the top, we're just going to reach down into the top 2 center pins. You're going to grab that very bottom band so that we can bring them together and close it up, which is where we will attach our C-clip. So what I would recommend, especially on this design, is when you go to release it, I would hold the C-clip with the bands in your fingers, have your hook, pop the two middle ones off, and then you can let it go, just to make sure that you don't lose any bands in the closure. And then I would go down the sides and release them. I have noticed that if you just pull it off of the loom, it tends to really like get kind of messy. You have to do a lot of fixing, and I feel like you have to do less fixing if you use your hook and release the sides. Once you release the sides, you can pull up on the middle. So I'll be back to show you how to clean it up and once it's off the loom in just a moment. Alrighty, so when you do first take it off the loom, you might say, oh my gosh, what a mess, right? Because things are kind of everywhere. The first thing you're going to want to do is kind of stretch it to the left and the right like this. Pull on it, stretch it. You just kind of want to get everything to fall into place because the bands may be sticking out too much on one side than the other. So it's not going to hurt it, trust me. You can stretch it really good out to the left and the right. Like that. One of the cool things is, for example, my green bands, if they're not laying right, you can obviously fix them, but they may be poking out one side more than the other, and you can pull one side to like clean up the other side. So basically one side affects the other side. So just keep that in mind too. If you pull, say, this out too far like that, you can just turn it over, grab it on this side, and pull it back out like that. So you can definitely tweak it based on which side you're playing with, which I thought was kind of cool. So, but there's not a whole lot that you have to do. I really hope you guys like this because I really love how this came out. I came out with the name Lash and Dash based on these orange bands. Reminded me of like the corner of eyelashes curling out. And then obviously has like the green dashes there, the green dashes on the sides, little orange dashes in there. So hence the name Lash and Dash. So if you guys like this design, please help me out and hit that like button below. I'd greatly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to my channel, you can do that below as well. And don't forget to find me on Instagram and tag me at Loves to Loom. I'd love to see your renditions. So I do appreciate you guys sticking around and watching another video. And I'll see you all soon at my next tutorial. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.